Hi, and welcome to Survival Fit Adventures if you're new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. This video is not about preparing for the what if situation. It's about what to do when things have already gone bad. If your neighborhood has become unsafe due to looting, civil unrest, or a total breakdown of services due to anything, it could be a man-made disaster, it could be a natural disaster. What you do next can mean the difference between protecting your family or losing everything. I'm going to walk you through what I've done to secure my home and how I actively defend my property during high-risk situations, including why I would personally take on patrolling. Also, how my family is involved in support roles and what you can do to start preparing now. When we talk about collapse, people think of war zones or remote places, but the reality is, when law enforcement is stretched too thin, after a natural disaster, a widespread blackout, or civil unrest, your neighborhood can change overnight. I don't say this to scare anyone. I say it because I've seen what happens when people aren't prepared, in a wildfire event and in blackouts, and it's not great. The first few hours are often confusion, and after that, it can be dangerous. That's why I don't wait for help. I prepare in advance to be my own first line of defense. If you're new to this, here's a place to start. We started by making our home harder to get into. So reinforced strike plates on every door, window film on main level glass, motion sensor lights, and cameras with battery backup and security alarms. So we also set up a safe room inside. So there's supplies in there, comms, blankets, a way to reinforce the door from the inside. So that's where the family would go at last resort if we had a major intrusion while I'm even out on patrol or outside the home. On the topic of patrolling, when the situation gets serious, I would take on perimeter patrols alongside people that I have trained to do them with me. We would walk the property, check access points, look for signs of forced entry or movement. We've trained together and know how to move as a team. I would only take this step when the threat level justifies it, and when it's been confirmed that there's criminal activity nearby or the local response system is overwhelmed. So these aren't aggressive patrols, they are measured, they are quiet, and they're focused. Presence alone deters most threats, but for me, I have to be mentally prepared to defend my family if it ever comes to that. Please note that while being outside the home during a violent event can give you a perspective on security, it may also expose you to much higher danger levels. But on the other hand, being outside, observing, or deterring may be the thing that keeps you and your family safest. It's really a case-by-case decision, and I can't tell you what you should do in your situation. My family is not on patrol with me. That is not their job. What they do is help make sure the supplies are good to go, that they are safe, and we run drills to make sure that they know what's going on in these kind of situations. They are to stay in communication if we are split up. So they know the plan and they know how to stay calm. They know where to go if I say that it's time to lock down. That kind of readiness is way more valuable than just handing them a flashlight or a radio and pretending that it's all under control. It's really about confidence and preparation and not combat. Know who you can count on in a bad situation and who might be a liability in your neighborhood. Know who your security partners might be and pre-plan a way to communicate if it really gets bad. Bottom line, know who is around you. Again, if you are new to this, here's some items that we keep stocked in case we have to stay kind of locked down for a long time. So you want to make sure, first of all, that you've got your water needs covered. At least, I say, 2 gallons per person per day in storage for, I don't know how many days you want to prepare for, but I would prepare for at least a week to 2 weeks. They say 72 hours is kind of that time frame that you should prepare for, but I think that is much too short of a time, and that's what we're seeing in both natural disasters and man-made disasters. It's just too short of preparation time. So another thing that you should have is canned foods or freeze-dried foods that are easy to prepare, easy to eat, and take this minimal preparation. You also need a medical kit with trauma gear and your prescriptions. Now, this medical kit, I've done a whole video on building your own medical kit. This medical kit cannot just be a small family medical kit. It needs to have additions. It also needs to have some volume to it. You need to be prepared to take care of things, bleeding, breakages, that sort of thing, without access to our current medical system. You need to have flashlights, headlamps. You need to have batteries, lots of them, and radios. So you can have that communication, you can see in the dark, very important things. I'll say this too, we need fire extinguishers, multiple fire extinguishers, more than you think, because in a bad situation, fire is one of the biggest dangers to your home, wherever you live, to the outside of your home, because if you cannot extinguish a fire, you are forced to leave and you're forced to go out into maybe higher levels of danger. So you need to be able to put out those fires. So get the proper fire extinguishers and also be trained on how to use them. And also build a plan around that. Who in your family is going to be primarily responsible for using those fire extinguishers and putting those fires out? So also, along with that, have masks and gloves. I've said it before in other videos, N95 masks are great for screening out some of the particulate. So at a minimum, an N95 type mask. Along with masks, have other protective gear like at least heavy leather gloves. You should have paper maps of your area. We have several maps where we just have our own property with a very zoomed in view, and you can print this off of any satellite imagery that is out there. And then also one of your greater neighborhood, and then maybe one of your city with possible evacuation type routes, safety zones that you've thought of beforehand, and then you can adjust to the situation that you're actually in. As a dad who's been using THRIVELIFE freeze-dried foods for over 10 years, I can tell you it's more than just food. No washing, no chopping, just real ingredients ready in seconds. And when it comes to preparedness, these cans stored unopened for 25 years. That's peace of mind that I can count on. There's a link to my THRIVELIFE storefront in the video description if you want to check it out. You should also have a little bit of cash, something that you can go out if absolutely necessary and get something when all of the card machines don't necessarily work because there's maybe a lack of power or the systems are just down for some other reason. And you also need to have your copies of important documents somewhere safe, preferably in a fireproof safe, but something that can be portable so that if you needed to leave in a hurry, you could take those things with you. So these aren't just prepper items, they are survival basics. We run family drills on all of this stuff. Not as often as we should, but we get it done. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated, and that's sometimes why people don't ever do these things, because they think it needs to be some sort of Hollywood production. But it's just a walkthrough so that everyone knows what to grab, where to go, and what their specific role is. My children are getting older, and part of their education is learning how to stay calm under pressure. And I'd rather them learn that from me than from inside a disaster situation and all of a sudden being thrust into it with no preparation. When things fall apart, you need to be more than just prepared. You need to be dependable. Your family, your neighbors, they'll be looking to you. And I am not trying to be a soldier or law enforcement. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and someone who refuses to be caught flat-footed when it matters most. If you've already taken steps to protect your home, let me know what you've done in the comments. This is a large topic and I'm just scratching the surface on it. Also, give this video a thumbs up or a like and subscribe for more of this type of content if you're into it. If you've never really put some serious thought to these issues, you can start today. So even one small change can make a difference. So stay sharp, stay steady, and stay safe.